Another day, another. Charot! So sa ating topic ngayon, hindi tayo magdi-discuss ng aking POV. This is not about my personal opinion, but rather, we will discuss the decision itself, the decision of the ICC in denying former President Rodrigo Duterte's urgent request for interim release. Okay? So again, klaruhin natin, hindi ako magbibigay ng personal kong opinion or my point of view. Rather, we will discuss purely the legal basis of the denial of the interim release of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Now, if sa tingin nyo, bias or kung ano man ang personal na opinion ninyo patungkol sa desisyon ng ICC, then that is your opinion and I will respect that. But right now, mag-focus tayo sa kung ano ang desisyon ng ICC sa interim release ni former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Kapag ka daw para sa ito kapag daw ang isang bagay, no, nalaglag, ang bagsak yan sa sahig.
Oh.
Diba?
Oh.
Pero pag daw ang politiko nalaglag, ang bagsak yan sa dahig.
Iyo.
Oh, joke! Nanisip ko lang yung parcel. Alam mo na, joke.
Ang aking pananaw po, ang desisyon ay mali, hindi makaturungan, at hindi makatao.
Okay, by the way, kung gusto nyong makakuha ng legit na copy ng desisyon ng ICC, you can search it online. Just make sure na yung website is the ICC's website, okay? Kasi maraming mga website na nag-provide ng copy ng decision ng ICC, but some of them are redacted or edited. So make sure lang na sa ICC website kayo kumuha. Okay? So ito na nga. On October 10, 2025, the pre-trial chamber issued a decision denying former President Rodrigo Duterte's urgent request for interim release. So what do we mean by interim release? Interim meaning provisional or temporary release. So if we're going to compare this interim release in our local law or in our local procedure in the Philippines, this is actually akin to a motion to post bail. Okay? So in the Philippines, if a criminal case is filed against an accused, that accused has the right to post bail provided na yung penalty, na imposable penalty is bailable, okay? Kasi if hindi siya bailable, katulad ng murder, then there's no right to bail, okay? The bail is a matter of discretion. It's not a matter of right if ang penalty imposable is reclusion in perpetua, like okay, so ang gagawin niyan is kung gustong mag-post ng bail is magpa-file ang abogado ng akusado ng motion to post bail at magkakandak ng hearing. But if it is a matter of right, if bail is a matter of right, meaning yung penalty imposed is not reclusion perpetua, o mababa lang ang penalty, then no need na for hearing kasi a matter of right yon. So that is in our local law, in our procedure in the Philippines. Now, if we're going to ICC, magkaiba yung procedure nila. Wala silang tinatawag na bail or piyansa, okay? Rather, what they have is this interim release. The legal basis is the Rome Statute, particularly Article 60. So, pero in essence, pareho lang ang purpose niyan. Interim release is for provisional liberty or temporary liberty. Ang bail or piyansa is ganun din, temporary liberty, okay? Magkaiba lang yung procedure kasi nga, iba naman yung procedure sa international law or sa ICC under Rome Statute, iba rin dito sa local laws natin sa Philippines. Okay, so now, let's discuss the legal basis. Of course, ang legal basis is ang Rome Statute. By the way, I hope you can secure a copy of the Rome Statute so you can follow my discussion. You can just search it online. It's available online. Make sure lang na yung source or yung website na pagkukuhanan nyo is legitimate. Okay? So again, the legal basis of Duterte's counsel in requesting for his interim release is Article 60 of the Rome Statute. So puntahan natin ang Rome Statute. So under Article 60, Paragraph 2, it provides that a person subject to a warrant of arrest may apply for interim release pending trial. If the pre-trial chamber is satisfied that the conditions set forth in Article 58, Paragraph 1 are met, the person shall continue to be detained If it is not so satisfied, the pretrial chamber shall release the person with or without conditions. So, makikita nyo na ni-reference ni Article 60 yung Article 58 because Article 58 is actually the legal basis of the prosecution in justifying the detention of Duterte. Okay? So you see the difference? Article 58 is the legal basis of the prosecution in justifying his detention, while Article 60 is the legal basis of Duterte's counsel in requesting for his interim release. Now let's proceed to Article 58. So Article 58 of the Rome Statute provides that the arrest of a person is necessary if the following circumstances are complied with. First, to ensure the person's appearance at trial, meaning para masigurado na a-attend or magpa-participate si Duterte sa trial or sa investigasyon ng ICC. Ikalawa, to ensure that the person does not obstruct or endanger the investigation or the court proceedings. So meaning, to ensure na or para masigurado na si Duterte ay hindi makakahadlang or makakapinsala sa investigasyon or sa pagdinig ng ICC. Okay? Third is where applicable to prevent the person from continuing with the commission of the crime or related crime which is within the jurisdiction of the court and which raised out of the same circumstances. So, ibig sabihin, para masigurado or para maiwasan ang patuloy na pag-commit daw or paggawa ng similar crime na kung saan that crime is subject of the warrant of arrest of Duterte. So, para ma-prevent daw ang commission of similar or further related crimes. Okay? So, yun ang mga basihan kung saan ang prosecution are trying to convince the chamber that the detention of Duterte is necessary. Okay? So, again, yung chamber, ito yung mga judges na magdi-decide or yung panel of judges na humahawak or nagdidinig ng kaso ni Duterte. All right, so now let's proceed to Duterte's urgent request for interim release, dated June 12, 2025. So his counsel filed this on June 12, 2025, and I hope you can also secure a copy of that pleading. No, it's also available online. Again, make sure lang na legitimate yung website. So dito sa request na to, particularly sa submission portion ng kanilang urgent request, no, nakalagay yung mga submissions. Kumbaga, these are their contentions or their arguments ng depensa or ng kampo ni Duterte to support the request for his interim release. So these are the following. First, Mr. Duterte will not abscond. Okay? So ibig sabihin, hindi daw siya tatakas. So the defense argued that Duterte is not a flight risk. Ibig sabihin ng flight risk, a posibilidad na tumakas. So according to his counsel, there's no possibility of him to flee because of his advanced age and his health conditions. So, to support their argument, the defense highlighted Duterte's willingness to submit to court's authority and participate in proceedings, and they even emphasized that he did not evade arrest. And in fact, he even cooperated with the ICC procedure. So another submission is that Duterte's advanced age is already 80 years old and he's suffering health conditions. So they even submitted, again, medical reports to support their arguments or to support their request, no? So according to his counsel, matanda na daw si Duterte and mahina na. So it is unlikely for him to flee. So parang imposible daw na tumakas pa si Duterte. And even if, assuming daw na kung tumakas, it will be impossible for him to survive the life, on the run, no? So yun yung argument nila. Second argument is that, or second submission is that Mr. Duterte will not imperil proceeding if he will be released. So the defense submitted that Duterte lacks both the means and the motive to obstruct or endanger the ICC proceedings. So since hindi naman daw siya presidente, hindi na siya nakaupo, wala na daw siya sa public position, it would be impossible daw for him to control or even influence individual connected with the case. Then third, Mr. Duterte will not continue to commit crimes. So according to his defense, they submitted that he is already of age, 80 years old na nga siya. So it would be, and he's no longer in power, so it would be impossible for him to commit nga the alleged crimes, no? So matanda na siya, wala na siya posisyon, wala na daw siyang mga connection or even means to allegedly commit those, crime. or crimes. And fourth is humanitarian factors militate in favor of interim release. So the defense argues that Duterte's declining health condition, old age, should warrant his release. So these are the submissions of Duterte's counsel in his request for interim release. So basically, kung mapapansin nyo, it surrounds with his advanced age, that he's no longer in possession, so it's very unlikely for him to commit those alleged crimes, hindi siya tataka. So basically, yun yung konteksto o yung argument ng depensa or ng kampo ni Duterte sa kanilang request for interim release. Now, let's proceed with the prosecution's response to the request of Duterte's interim release. So of course, after ma-file ng kampo ni Duterte yung request nila, yung prosecutor or yung prosecution, binigyan din ng oras para mag-submit or mag-file ng kanilang opposition or response to the interim request. So, the prosecution's response, makikita din to sa decision ng ICC, nakalagay dito that, of course, they justified, they insist that Duterte should be detained or he should not be released or that the interim release should be denied. So the prosecution raised that continued detention of Duterte is necessary in order to ensure his appearance at trial, considering that first, Duterte does not accept the legitimacy of the legal proceeding he is subject to before the court, as demonstrated by his resistance to his arrest and the claims that he has been kidnapped by the court. So yun yung first argument nila. So, baka daw, if i-grant yung interim release, baka hindi na umappear or hindi na bumalik si Duterte sa Hague kasi nga, in the first place, nung na-arresto siya, kini-question nila yung pag-arrest sa kanya at they even alleged that he was being kidnapped. Okay? So, then a second contention was that he has maintained political position and international contacts that may contribute to his ability to abscond. So basically, sinasabi ng prosecution dito na kahit hindi na siya presidente, may mga contacts pa rin siya, international and locally, and even means para makalaya or makatakas, kumbaga, sa ICC. Third, his potential access to significant financial resources that would enable him to abscond. So, inallege din ng prosecution na may mga financial resources pa rin si Duterte na makakapag-finance if in case talagang tatakas siya sa Hague or talagang if mag-grant ang kanyang interim release, may means siya na hindi na bumalik or magtago, kumbaga. Then fourth, that the defense arguments regarding Duterte's alleged physical frailty should be rejected since health does not neutralize risk. They even contended that the ICC detention center can adequately manage his medical needs, hence his alleged health condition is not an excuse. Aside from that, the prosecution further contended that ongoing investigation through his associates or his family members, basically sinasabi ng prosecution dito na kahit hindi na presidente si Duterte o wala na siya sa pwesto, pwede pa rin niyang maimpluwensyahan ang investigasyon kasi nga yung anak niya is still the Vice President of the Philippines, and yung isa pa niyang anak, si Baste Duterte, is the current mayor of Davao City. So may means talaga siya at impluwensya na makatakas or maka-impluwensya sa investigasyon ng ICC. And aside from that, regarding dun sa health conditions niya, may facility naman daw yung ICC na competent daw to cater the medical needs of former President Rodrigo Duterte's medical condition. So yun yung mga arguments or submissions ng prosecution regarding doon sa request ng kanyang interim release. Okay? So now, let's proceed to the decision of the ICC. So of course, after ma-receive ng ICC both the request and the opposition of the prosecution, and after weighing all the arguments, after taking into consideration all the relevant arguments and points submitted by both parties, they issued their decision on October 10, 2025. So again, available din yung decision na to sa online through their website, sa ICC website. Okay? So, of course, you are already aware na the ICC denied Rodrigo Duterte's interim release. Okay? So, yung rason or yung legal basis bakit nila dinina yung request is yun yung pag-uusapan natin. Okay? So first, as regards Duterte's presence during trial, sabi dito ng ICC, Duterte daw is flight risk. So may posibilidad daw na tumakas si Duterte. So ang kanilang justification dito is that from Duterte's initial appearance, he already contested his arrest and detention and qualified it as pure and simple kidnapping. So basically, from the inception, from his arrest pa lang daw, question na daw ni Duterte yung kanyang arrest. Sabi nga sa balita, 'di ba? They are alleging that he was being kidnapped daw by the court para lang makuha yung jurisdiction daw over his person. So in addition, his family not only physically resisted but also publicly voiced criticism regarding his arrest and detention and demanded that he should be brought back to the Philippines. So of course, ang dami nung naaresto si Duterte, ang daming balita na yung kampo niya is they are requesting that he should be released and he should be brought back here to the Philippines. And also the chamber also notes VP Sara's statement in public, the idea of breaking Duterte out of ICC detention center. So with her position as vice president, the ICC notes that she may help his father abscond. So dahil nga daw vice president si Sara Duterte and considering daw na yung statement ni VP Sara na itatakas daw nila allegedly si Duterte sa ICC detention facility. So may posibilidad nga na kumbaga totohanin to ni VP Sara na itatakas nga yung si former President Duterte. Then second, as to the risk of Duterte's obstructing or endangering the investigation of the ICC. So according to the ICC, base dito sa desisyon nila, they hold that even if Duterte is no longer a president, he may still obstruct or endanger the proceeding of the ICC. The chamber notes Duterte and his associates' involvement in briefing witnesses due to testify before the Philippine Senate inquiry into the Davao Death Squad, as well as threatening and taking retaliatory actions against individuals who oppose to him. So, ikinonsider din yun, isa din yun sa mga basihan ng ICC para ma-justify na may posibilidad daw na i-obstruct ni Duterte yung investigation ng ICC. Kasi nga dun daw sa participation niya sa Davao Death Squad na kung saan allegedly ikinausap nila yung mga witnesses na a-attend daw sa Senate hearing and they allegedly threatened those witnesses that they will take actions or retaliatory actions against them if they will testify against Duterte or his associates. So part yun ng decision ng ICC. So ikinonsider din yun ng ICC. Then third, as to the risk of committing crime, sabi din dito ng ICC, Duterte's alleged pledge sometime in 2024 to double the killings if he were to be elected as mayor of Davao City, and that in May 2025, he was re-elected mayor of Davao, while his son was re-elected as vice mayor. So the chamber recalls that some of the crime alleged in the warrant of arrest, were committed while Duterte was still the mayor of Davao. As such, his return to Davao would place him in the very position that would allow him to commit further crimes. So yun yung sabi ng ICC, if base daw sa former statement ni President Duterte na if ma-elect daw siya as mayor again of Davao, he will double the killing. So yun yung sinabi dito ng ICC. So since na-elected daw si Mayor Duterte noong May 2025 and his son was re-elected as vice mayor of the same city, may posibilidad daw na magpapatuloy yung pag-commit daw ng crimes ni former President Duterte if ma-grant yung interim release na. So yun yung nakasaad dito sa decision ng ICC. So masyado itong mataas yung decision, mahaba yung discussion ng ICC. So I would suggest you also secure a copy para mabasa nyo ang buong decision, okay? So, basically, yun yung rason kung bakit na-deny yung interim release ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. Kung isa-summarize natin, no, sinasabi ng ICC na posibilidad nga daw na tumakas si Duterte, he's a flight risk. So, baka tumakas daw si Duterte at hindi na bumalik sa Hague. Ikalawa, if mag-grant yung interim release niya, may posibilidad na impluwensya niya yung investigasyon ng ICC Pangatlo, may posibilidad daw na magpapatuloy yung pag-commit ng crimes ni Duterte or his associates. Okay? So, yun ang mga basihan ng ICC kung bakit nila dininay yung urgent request for interim release. Okay? So now, let's talk about the effect of the denial of Duterte's interim release. So take note, yung sinabi ko kanina, interim release lang ito, provisional liberty, provisional or temporary liberty lang. This is not judgment, okay? This is not a verdict of the ICC. Temporary lang to kasi nga pre-trial stage pa lang, okay? Wala pang full-blown trial, nag-uumpisa pa lang, so mahaba pa tong proseso. So hindi ibig sabihin na dininay ng ICC yung interim release, get guilty na si Duterte. Hindi pa ganun kasi pre-trial pa lang, nag-uumpisa pa lang, wala pa tayo sa trial proper, okay? So the denial of his interim release is just a temporary setback, okay? It is not tantamount to a judgment or a conviction or even acquittal, okay? Kasi pre-trial pa nga lang, okay? So, syempre, magpapatuloy pa rin yung kaso. Kaya lang, si Duterte will remain in the ICC detention facility. Yun lang yung epekto ng denial ng interim release. Hindi grinant yung kanyang request na palayain siya temporarily while ongoing pa yung kaso. So yun lang yung epekto ng denial ng interim. Okay? Again, ulitin ko, the denial of the interim release is not tantamount to conviction or not tantamount to acquittal. It is just a denial for his request to be released temporarily. So now, since I have already discussed, first the legal basis, yung sa Rome Statute, legal basis ng prosecution at legal basis ng defense ni Duterte. Second, na-discuss din natin yung arguments or submissions ng kampo ni Duterte when they requested for his interim release. We also discussed the submissions of the prosecution when they filed their opposition to the interim release of former President Rodrigo Duterte. And of course, the legal basis of the ICC when they denied the interim or the request for interim release. So right now, I want to know what is your opinion regarding the decision of the ICC. So just comment down below so we can engage in a meaningful discussion. Okay? Thank you. And that's it for Let's Talk Legal with Attorney Zai.